Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions, to give a defense. Does the reality of suffering and evil disprove God? Let's face it, the world is replete with suffering and evil. And if you've lived long enough, you've seen the grim effects that suffering can cause, be it through moral or natural evils. Philosophers talk about the intellectual problem and the emotional problem as it relates to suffering and evil in this world. And the emotional problem of suffering can create much angst, even causing Christians to wonder, God, are you really out there? Yet the intellectual problem comes along and says the idea of suffering and evil is not contradictory to the belief of a good and loving God. Though it might be hard for us to swallow that pill emotionally, it doesn't mean there can't be a good, loving, all-powerful God. Yet skeptics will contend, if God is all-powerful, He can get rid of suffering. And then they'll say, and if God is all good and all loving, He will get rid of suffering. But suffering still exists, so therefore God must not exist. That's a problem right there in the way that we conclude. Not only that, there's a problem with the fact that God will get rid of suffering. If we mean right now, He will indeed get rid of suffering in His own time. And we may not understand the reasons for which we are suffering. But we can remember that He partook in our sufferings in the person of Jesus Christ, dying on a cross for our sins. And so, can God get rid of suffering and evil? Absolutely. Will He? Absolutely. But does that mean we will have no suffering right now? No, it doesn't. In a world where there are free creatures who make decisions freely, where we're not automatons, we are going to make decisions at times in our life that go against everything about God and His ways. And God has allowed us to live in a free world where free creatures exercise freedom, and we see evil and the results of it all over the place. And so we can be thankful, though, as believers, that one day God's going to turn these wrongs to right and allow us to experience an eternal paradise with Him where there is no more suffering and evil.